Okay, we're live. It's James Maduke speaking. Another live session Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Just welcome if you haven't been on these. These are live, open question and answer sessions. Sometimes if I don't get a question, I'll rant a bit, but certainly if you have one, please make sure to put it in the chat and I'll do my best to answer it. There's lots going on, of course, that we can talk about. Totally up to you. Uh, I could probably talk for the rest of the day, just going over all of the new things that have happened. So I'm open to anything. But for the most part, what I want to do is make sure it's stuff about starting, building, and growing an education business, and specifically all of the stuff that AI is doing to leverage all of that great stuff we have in our head that perhaps you want to be able to share with other people and earn some money with it. Speaking of earning some money with it, one of the things there's a number of people that I follow online, and there's a whole one of them is called Moonshots. There's another lady, well, not lady, it's actually an avatar, Julia McCoy, who has a company, First Movers Advantage, is doing some really kind of neat stuff. Just want to make sure I have sound here and everything. We've got some sound. I think we do. Give me a thumbs up if there's sound or isn't sound or there's a problem, and I'll do my best to see if we can get that squared away there. And again, where's everyone from? Let me know who's on there. Give me a chat. Let me know what's happening, and I'll do my best to answer those questions as quickly as possible. But what I was saying was, there's the thing that's cool if you're teaching stuff or you're in the education business is I think that the whole way that hey, Paul, perfect, nice to see you. Um, uh, Add to broadcast or ban. I won't do either, so thanks for coming on. Again, these are live sessions, so sometimes I don't know exactly what's going to happen. That's why I always ask at the start and just say if everyone's got some sound and stuff, it goes okay. So I don't have a producer with me. I'm here in one of the bedrooms in my house that I've converted to a studio with a couple monitors and a couple machines and some lights and a camera. So that's kind of the setup I have. And as much as that's not too high tech, one of the things is that it doesn't have to be anymore, which is great, especially if you're doing live edits like I am. And it's just like get the stuff out of your head as quickly as possible and put it onto video. But that's a whole other story. So again, let me know where you're from. Let me know who's here. Give me a thumbs up or at least a question, and I'll make sure to answer those as quickly as possible. Um, New York, wonderful. Success links from Jamaica. Well, I think is Shireen. If I pronounced it incorrectly, my apologies. What do we have for questions here? What is the stuff you want to look at? Is it AI stuff? Is it business related? Is it course related? Anything that I'm open to that. The one thing that I will tell you, just to preface it, is that the next 3 months or so that we end up with all of the course stuff. Like I was brought up on courses, and I still kind of create courses, but there's some real problems for course creators coming, some disruptions, and we're all going to have to start thinking quite a bit differently about how things are going. I did do a video about 15 minutes ago that I just published. Let me just pull this one up and I'll show you. You can go watch it after. I'm not going to play it or anything here, but you can go watch it after just so that you see kind of what's here. Let me do this one instead. So this particular video I just did was evolve or get left behind. The reason I did this one is there's a whole bunch of companies that are coming out now with wearables, and those wearables are basically AI on your person. So it's not doing text prompts. It's not in front of your computer. It's like you got a smartphone, you've got wearable devices, we've got headsets, we've got glasses. All of this stuff is moving away from the computer. So there's two things. One is that the people that are learning and consuming the content are no longer in a traditional course. They're learning live in real time, interfacing AI live in real time when they're doing what it is that they're doing, where we used to be able to teach them. So I think there's some real issues there. We can certainly talk about it. I can talk about all the prompts and things that I've got set up to help you create traditional courses. But all I'm saying is, like in that video, people are wearing stuff. They're starting to wear stuff, and I put a whole bunch of links in there. And These are things that you can buy for as low as $99 now available for doing note taking. There's another one I showed, I think it was $3.99, that you can actually basically talk with AI or interface with AI based on the conversations that you actually had during the day or the week or what have you. So this whole place is getting kind of flippy, and that's why it's so exciting. If we're in the teaching business and we're trying to think, how are we going to put this all together? Uh, Pole based in Hampshire in England. Hey, welcome. Poland, perfect. Wow. South Africa. This is actually, I'm going to talk about this for a second because this is interesting. When I first started, all of the stuff that I did in the past was always about English, North America, Australia, England. There was nothing that was kind of outside of that. I'm English speaking. That was where my head was at. And then last week at Google I/O, or the week before now, one of the things that they mentioned there, well, there's two things. One of the things is that my YouTube channel got with automatic dubbing. So I think what's happening is I'm getting people from all over the place where I'm not sure, give me a thumbs up, but is my video being dubbed in your local language? So in my interface in my YouTube studio, it says that it is, but I don't know. But I've been getting a lot of people from countries that are open the LMS, perfect. Yeah, France, all of these places. I'm getting these people who are not necessarily in my traditional market, so that's one of the things I'm kind of wondering about. The one that is a really exciting, if you're in the coaching, the teaching, that whole space, is at Google I/O, Google Meet, they announced that they have auto translation in Google Meet. So what that means is that if you're not doing Zoom, you're doing a Google Meet call, and someone is in Poland, someone is in France, someone is in Germany, and we're doing a Google Meet call, you talk in your local language, I'm going to get English. I talk in English, you're going to get your local language. So they announced that, and if that's something that's available in the next little while, think what happens to that kind of focused market that you were thinking about, locally or in your country or in your state or province or wherever you happen to be. It's worldwide with that being available. So that's just one of the cool examples. I don't know what's going to happen there. If I'm getting dubbed on YouTube, I'm looking at also saying, you know what, Zoom is cool, but they don't have that yet. I don't like the Zoom interface myself, but what happens when we have automatic translation, bidirectional translation live in real time? We've got this huge now market to share all of the stuff that we actually do. So very, very cool. Yeah, so what do we got for questions? Anyone else have some specific questions, things they want to cover, things that they've seen or not seen, want to get clarified on, whether it be prompts or courses or AI tools? I'm open to talking about any of those because there's so much cool stuff. So much cool stuff. And while I'm waiting for that, I am going to tell you one kind of another thing that's in the back of my head that I'm thinking of, and just to be open about this. The number of the people that I follow that are kind of forward thinking in this AI space, I always look at all of it and I try and figure out, okay, if I have a teaching business or I'm educating people or I'm sharing stuff that I know, how does this actually get applied to people? So the one thing that just happened here, I have my headset just went on, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to turn this off for a sec. Hang on. There we go. We'll turn that off for a second. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of neat where this applies because there's a whole economic change that's coming, which is really, really different than paying for hours and labor. I think it's paying for ownership of communities and ownership of audience is what we're going to be able to leverage to monetize as opposed to we did this thing for you. So I did this coaching or I did this session. It's the ability to have your captive audience or an audience that you or community that you can rely on for a while, networking with them, interfacing with them, and kind of changing the way things are working with that. So that's something to watch just to keep in back of your mind. So a couple questions here, Paul. James, I appreciate any thoughts you might have for building communities of practice or social learning communities with AI. The intended audience is seniors aging wisely with their dogs. Okay, that's a pretty interesting question. Um, Experience with virtual reality glasses production process training. That one's from, I think it's Lezik. Okay. Um, Yeah, funny you mentioned that one. I did the video that I did this morning. I talked a little bit about the AI glasses from Meta and Facebook, from Ray-Ban, and then the one from Android XR, which is Warby Parker. These are wearable AI devices, and I don't know how to program for them yet. I know the release. The one from Facebook is available. The one from Android, I would suspect in the next couple months, Samsung or what are the other ones will actually start, seeing stuff on store shelves. I don't know what the scoop is on those ones in terms of developing the content for it. But that one's actually going to change the space. The other one they showed, and I put the link. I put the link in. Let me just show you where that link is. Actually, share my screen here for a sec. One of the things that I did is I did put the links in. I don't have the video up yet, but let me just do. It's actually a draft, so if you haven't been on the training sites, this is something you're all going to have to deal with courses and videos. So, and I don't have a perfect answer for it yet. I'm experimenting on it, and I'll come back, Paul, to this question that you had because it kind of weaves into this one. If you have a lot of content and a lot of it is video, in your community that you have to have a good way to archive that or make it available within the community. One of the things that I did in mine is I built, this is a WordPress site, but I actually built a page that has the archive of my YouTube videos. So a lot of them are here right now. I think there's a couple hundred that are available here now. I think I have 450 that are just on YouTube, another 700 on Vimeo. So I got a whole bunch of basic video content, which has value, but trying to find a way to organize it so that it's accessible in a community. That's one of the issues that I'm having personally about not putting them in the courses, but extracting the value from them. So that's something we're all going to have to kind of play around with. I'm just looking for I'll open up, actually, we'll go to the dashboard here. Because business models in this space about community is kind of neat stuff that's happening. And I will talk about a couple plugins on the WordPress one that just updated as well. We'll go to the tutorials here. So I'm just logged into the back end of the live website, the training sites one. And we'll just look at the one that is in draft, which I did because I have the links here and I'll show them to you. Because the VR, the demo of the VR headset from Android and the link to the glasses were here. So, and this was the start of the video that I talked about was kind of weird because, I grew up watching Star Trek and I did a reference to this Star Trek stuff in the video here because some of the stuff that happened in Star Trek is now available in all of the wearable devices that we have. So I haven't put any of the links here, but I'll try and put them in the chat here. But there's one, the Meta AI glasses is available. So if you just do a search on Meta for AI glasses, you'll see stuff there. And then also do a search, sorry, I didn't save it yet. Do a search for Android XR glasses in YouTube, and you'll see a number of videos of live where they have the immersive virtual headset as well as the glasses. They have live demos of those. So those are the ones that are kind of cool that are going to be coming out sooner rather than later. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen for, if we're building an education business and or the community, you got a wearable device, the people that are learning aren't there necessarily in the community, and a course isn't necessarily going to help them if they're wearing ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini Live, and it's on their smartphone, it's on a lapel, it's in their eyeglasses. Not entirely sure what's going to happen. And the whole point of the video I was talking about is you got to think a little bit out of the box on how quickly that kind of stuff is going to happen. So curriculum. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can. Again, I have a little bit of trouble with the. There we go. Just going to go, Paul. Okay, so the one I'm going to go back to Paul just to kind of talk about this for a second. Any thoughts might have on building communities of practice or social learning communities with AI? Intended audience is senior, aging wisely with their dogs. Um, and I wish I had a perfect answer for you. However, what I can say is the way that I'm approaching things, the framework that I have, and then to see how you could apply it to turn it into a business. And the reason I do this kind of setup with this space is that over the last 25 years, putting all of these pieces together, and again, this is the training site in the community. On the left-hand side here, hopefully you'll be able to see it. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. There is the 10-step campus map that is available to you. Please go and take this. This is my 10-step framework. And over 25 years of being in the education business, these are like 10 steps that business people who are trying to teach what it is they know and end up doing, they end up having to be involved in all 10, but obviously more rather than the other. And, you know, one of the things I would say to you, Paul, is that if you're going to build a community, one of the things that I, you know, kind of want to start here is the first couple steps is first identifying that in fact, and this is only if you're treating it as a business, but trying to figure out, in fact, do you have a good description of what it is that you're actually doing? Do you have a way to message that makes sense to the people who are you trying to educate and have in your business? And if that is actually a marketable business, I had an example. One of the clients I was working with earlier, I think it was yesterday actually, they teach to 6 to 12-year-old kids. However, those people are not the ones that are paying the money, right? So it's like you're teaching something to someone who can't buy anything, but you have to message and be able to sell. If you're going to monetize it as a business, you've got to have that for the people that are buying it. So I'll just give you a simple example. If you have someone who's in a senior's residence, again, I'm speaking out of ignorance for your unique situation, but I just want to apply the process. If you are someone in a senior residence and you have a child or offspring that is the one that is caring for them and managing them in a senior's process, and you're trying to sell something to the senior who has no choice on what actually gets bought or not bought, you know, you're going to have trouble with a business. So, you know, if you haven't done that 10-step one, go and spend some time on that and kind of make sure that you can have your community organized if it is a business so that you know what it is you're selling and who it is you're selling to before you start getting into building out a community and all of these things that take time, energy, and effort. So, you know, that's kind of the first thing that's there. The second thing is that with AI changing so quickly, and you know, just to give you an example of how quickly this is, I did the AI Studio one, and again, I'll bring this link up. Hopefully, you've had a chance to see it, but the aistudio.google.com. This was the first time that I ran into the multimodal where you could actually talk to Gemini and show it what was in your camera and share the screen with it. That was in December that I actually saw live demos and did some videos about it. But it's July and or June, sorry, 5 months ago. This is actually live on your phone now. So if you're looking at saying, yeah, I want to build a community, I want to treat it as a business, and it's 5 months from now or it's January of 2026, what are we actually going to be doing with content in the community? And is it about the content or is it about physically being there and applying some of the processes and things that you've experienced over a number of years? And how do you actually apply that? So, you know, these are kind of questions that I would think about, Paul, if you're kind of doing this, where am I going to fit in? Is it something that I have to have blended learning where I'm physically involved with people? You know, is it something where you're going to teach them something? You know, is it a course with seniors? I don't have a really good answer for them, but the thing is that you got to go through there and kind of figure out what is the part that is content and what is the part that is application, and then how am I going to you know, deliver that application? And I think community can come in because it is the applied application of the community is where everyone learns from. It's like, I tried it this way, what happened? You know, have you considered this? Other people in the community can start to do that. So, you know, social learning communities with AI, It's going to be kind of neat. And now I will show you, and again, keep on putting the questions in, but I will show you one thing that I'm actually doing and trying to move what was traditional courses to. And I think I did the video on Monday, but I'll do this one up. And this is kind of where I'm thinking. The reason I'm spending time on this, Paul, is just because I'm thinking about this as well. And I'll put the link to the video in. But one of the things that's really happening that I'm focusing on with the AI space is kind of flipping courses around. And this is one that I did here, and I think I'm calling it. And again, if there's professional educators here watching this, I'm not a professional educator. I don't have degrees, or I haven't studied, traditional learning education. But so this term that I've been playing around with is scenario learning, and I think in a social community, this is a thing that can replace courses, and it's what I'm playing with right now. And the way that this works is basically what happens is you lay out a scenario, which is one that I did here. And I'll make sure so you can see where it is. This is free for you, by the way, to get involved, and I would love for you to get involved. Some people have. I just posted this recently. This is in the workflows menu of trainingsites.io. And you'll see that basically a scenario, the way I've got this set up, is not a course, but I want the community to help me solve a problem based on the framework. So what I did here is I basically put in a scenario for a member, and basically this is the problem they have, these are the tools they have, this is the situation they're in, and then what I'm asking from you, the community, is to say, hey, how would you approach this? Have you done this before? Did it work? Did it not work? What are some other ways that you thought about approaching it? And then later on the week, on Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through and apply my 10-step process to this, and then we'll come up with something. So is this a traditional course? No, it's not a traditional course at all. It's not a just in case you need to learn this content. That stuff is available for free everywhere. But what I want to do is take a look at, how did that decision did make? How was it evaluated? What did you learn from it? And not just me, but everyone in the group. So, Paul, if you're doing stuff that is in a social community, whether it be for using dogs or playing a piano or using a piece of software or equipment, any of the scenarios that you can kind of lay out or come up with, I think is a good way to get the community involved. And after this, we're going to end up with a course, but basically it's a course on a scenario, not on content. So that's one of the things to kind of consider going through that. So hopefully that would, those are just a couple of things that popped to my head. If you have comments about that, make sure and go in to the general discussion here and add it to the discussion. And I'd love to talk about it and hear some other people going their feedback on that as well. So let me go back. More questions here. See, there's 23 minutes. I get going on this stuff. I can't stop myself. And I hope you're that way too, about the stuff that you're learning and all that passion that you have for something. Virtual reality glasses, production process training. Again, I haven't personally, so I really can't comment on that, other than the fact that we're not too far away. Um, the one thing I will mention here, I'm just going to talk about this because the virtual reality glasses are important. The demos that I've seen with the glasses, and also the one that I did with AI Studio, which is in stream here. And again, this is one that it's my understanding from the demos that Google did and the ones that I've seen, is that when you have the glasses on, as an example, or you're using Gemini Live and you ask a question, it can actually bring up the image in the virtual reality headset and the glasses, those Android XR glasses. It can superimpose text on the glasses. So if you're asking a question and it's about a technical production of something, the glasses are seeing what you're doing in front of you, and you ask a question, they're going to be able to put up text and or an image of something in front of you in the glasses. So, they showed that last week in the glasses. They had maps, they had step-by-step instructions, they had text from chat messages and Google email being answered from the glasses. So, you know, if you're teaching any of those particular skills, some of those different things, it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens there. So let me go down to Lisa, just answer that question again, kind of a follow-up on that one. There we go. Yeah, so any experience virtual, yeah. So that one, you know, that one's kind of cool. That's there now. They showed a demo of it. Meta, Facebook is apparently you can buy those now. This stuff is coming quickly. End of the year, you know, there's lots of people doing that. I had heard that I think they're at 500 or 600 people are using ChatGPT right now. So in 5 months from now, or that's probably going to be 1 billion people are going to have access to ChatGPT and some of these tools. And a lot of it's going to be wearable. A lot of it is not going to be in front of a computer. And a lot of it is not going to be texting into something. We're going to be talking, communicating live with the computer, just like Star Trek, which is really, really cool. Okay, so let me just look a couple other questions. I wanted to try AI Studio with MCP. So I will talk about that for a second. And actually, again, I'm not an expert on MCP. I have talked about it a little bit, and I'll just kind of do my understanding of a recap now. So basically, what it stands for, again, if I'm wrong, correct me, it's Model Context Protocol. And basically, what it is let's say you've got Claude, Anthropic are the ones that developed this. Let's say you've got Claude and you want to get some data or talk to your Notion account, or you want to talk to your Zoho CRM, or you want to talk to another tool in your business. Basically, MCP just says, or it's a way or protocol to say, connect your AI tool to this external tool. So I have not used it there, but if you go and you take a look at some of the AI automation tools, like Make, which used to be called Integromat, I think, or the other popular one right now is 8N8, so or N8N, so the letter N, the number 8, and the letter N. And basically what those do is they say, here's my AI agent, and I want to connect to my website to these tools, and they're using MCP to go back and forth. So I haven't tried AI Studio with it. The big picture here is that if you have an AI tool, it's got access to, or sorry, AI platform that you're using and it has MCP available to it. You now have access to all of your other tools that work with MCP. So their content, all of the stuff that's in there, it can be connected back to the large language model. Now, I'll tell you the other one that you're going to hear about was announced, I think, in January as well. And this is, I think it's called Vectra. I don't remember the exact name on it, but basically it's a different one. Instead of agent to tool, MCP, it has agent to agent. So think of it this way. If you have an agent that answers, you know, your email on a regular basis, you can have it flag something and send it to another agent that does something else. So it's basically automating the steps of agents to agents as opposed to pulling and adding data to a particular tool. And those ones, again, are just opening up everything and all the opportunities for us doing that. So have I played around with it at AI Studio? No, but it's there, it's coming. And again, we're going to have to kind of pay attention to it. Anthony, hey, welcome. So Anthony says, let me just do this one. Anthony says, I'm just starting down the life coaching path and started my curriculum. I'm 54, learning AI, and the path I originally was going down, recorded course, community, Zoom coaching, advice on a new path. Yeah, so here's my again, here's my gist on it. Uh, I'll put this one, actually we'll do this as another scenario. We'll do another version of this one. So remember I was talking, let me go to the course again. So here's just a perfect example where in the past, if you were a course creator, you know, the whole idea here was Anthony asked about doing this. Oh, I better do a course about it. You know, is it for Anthony? Am I trying to sell it? Is it a business if I'm doing a course about that particular scenario? But if we do it as a scenario teaching one, and I go and say, okay, here, I'm going to go and I'm going to open up my scenario one for my Sarah as an example here. And in Sarah's one, she says, I feel Completely overwhelmed and honest, but as stupid asking this. I don't even know where to start with AI. Everyone talks about ChatGPT, and it said, I know where to ask. And this, Sarah's a life coach who's been running her practice for 8 years, has 2,000 email subscribers, and gets steady referrals. So, this is kind of the situation that you're in, right? Existing business, AI, want to kind of leverage all my experience. How am I going to do that? And although I haven't answered this here specifically, what I have been teaching people is that if you are wanting to be in the education space, you're going to have your own framework. So, that framework, I have a 10-step one. You're going to have to kind of come up with the framework that you can apply to the situations, to the people that you're helping. So, I would make sure that you have a framework first that you can apply to any of the situations for your existing customers and or new customers or potential customers. And that framework can be very, very simple. And it's normally the stuff that you do live in person with someone who you may be coaching right now. So just kind of identify from your perspective, what are the steps that you go through with people? And then also from the person you're coaching, what are the steps that they go through? And then try and put together some framework that you can, hang your hat on. And the reason I say this is because it provides or removes overwhelm because you have a process to follow. And the second thing is it's your process and it makes you unique. If you just want to generate AI content based on doing a prompt and say, how do I do coaching? A billion people can do that. But if you have your own unique framework and or process that you can teach and apply to anyone that you are, appropriately teaching or coaching, then that's something to hang your hat on that can't be replaced easily anyway. And AI certainly can't replace it because it's your process, your experiences, the way you made decisions, kind of go through that. So that's just part of it. As I would make sure that I have my own framework in place. And something that I can call. And I know I think one of the other ones I did on Monday, if you haven't already, I would absolutely love for you. Here's my sales pitch one, just so that you have it. Is it the way that I have the business set up for me is that I have the open community, it's free for everyone. I have my huge prompt library and all the resources, examples, and things that I put here in the prompt library. These are all free for you. I also have, I think there's 24, 25, which was kind of courses, but are starting to be these scenario learning ones. These are all available and free for you. All the tutorials and these live classes that I do on Wednesdays. What isn't free is me interacting in unique situations with people who need or want an extra little bit of help. So if you find yourself that you don't want to do it yourself anymore, you want some help, someone doing it with you, in this case me, what you need to do is just go to, and I'll make sure I put the wrong one, sorry. Just make sure I got another letter there. There we go. See if I can. Yeah, so I do have Campus Pass here. If you want to spend 3 months with me, it's $249 a quarter, and basically we do 1 to 2 live interactive co-working sessions with the members on a regular basis. We do one a week, plus some additional kind of tools and stuff, and it's live where we're actually on a Zoom call, not on a live stream. So that's trainingsites.io/pass. Now the reason I'm talking about this is because one of the ones we did Monday, was this exact thing where it's like building out a process. And hopefully, Paul, I don't know if Paul's on. Don't know if Paul's on. Or maybe put this on. What we basically did is he didn't have a framework. We actually built a framework up, and it was pretty cool because he's in the baseball training space, and we were able to put a framework together which was about a baseball diamond and the bases. So identifying something that is unique to him that he can go and teach, that he has a way to message to people that's very, very simple, is a powerful thing to be able to do. So I would get a framework first. If you're doing that with your life coaching one, have it done. And then, kind of figure out how, or what's my platform going to be that I'm going to be able to deliver or apply that particular framework to as many people as I need to meet my business goals. So hopefully, Anthony, that helps out a little bit doing that. So give me a thumbs up. Is this okay? Is this the kind of stuff that you're looking for? Is there other questions that I'll just scroll through here? Um, there we go. I used a Creator app for my special ed curriculum, but it only did the homepage using my prompts. Which app can I use to make the rest of my app? Okay, this is kind of a neat one. And actually, I'll do this other one first, and then I'll come back to that question. Could you use keyword research tools for subject ideas? Okay, Paul, and anyone who's watching this, one of the first things that I do in the map, I'll just show it to you again. Um, Again, this is the most important part that hopefully I could ever get across to you here, is the first thing that I always do whenever these steps are. It's about, discover your perfect topic and theme for your community and your education business. That's kind of the first one. And I'm going to show you the exact link and exactly what you need to do to answer that question that you had, because this is the one that you need to do before you come up with your framework. And this is exactly how it works. So I'm going to go to the prompt library. And again, these are all available to you. And I'm just going to do a search. There it is. Let me do to come up. Yeah, so I'm just going to do where's the content marketing? Just trying to find the one that I actually have here. There it is. It's called the Content or Topical Authority Map. So if you do Topical Authority Map, this is going to come up. And these are the, if you're looking at search engine keywords, I don't do any search stuff anymore. I don't focus on it anymore. I focus on my topic and all of the ancillary items that support the topic. So I don't look at a specific niche, I look at the topic and the categories of doing it. And these prompts, basically just go and run the prompts word from word, and you're going to find some interesting stuff. So the first one is define the core topic. I want to create a topical authority map. My main topic is, and in your particular example, what did we use there? Paul, you were talking about, seniors, all right? Or um, I don't know if that's necessarily a great one, but uh, I'll do coaching just because it's an easier one, but it's like life coaching as an example. So my core topic is life coaching. And the first thing says, please give me 30 semantically relevant but unique subtopics or content pillars under this topic. Those should be useful for course lessons. I'm still using course lessons in the prompt, but that's fine in a second. And then what happens is you're going to get a list of 30 really, really great categories, and they're going to be in pillars that you can actually kind of open your eyes to. These are the ones that I normally talk about, or, oh, I hadn't considered that one. And you're going to get a list of 10 that's there. And then what you're going to do from that is you're going to pick one of the 30, and you're going to say from the topic, and you pick one from the 30, give me 10 useful variations or angles I could use to create lesson content, discussion prompts, and workshop sessions. These should each explore a unique facet, challenge, stage, or use case with this subject. So I'm going from one topic to 30 categories, and I'm taking one category and I'm saying, give me 10 variations on that. And then for each of the variations, I'm just saying, for each of the 10 variations under the subtopic, give me 25 of the most common questions or challenges these people have. So you're going to end up with 750 or 1,000 ideas on things that are all about your topic that you can create experiences about, talk about, create content about, creating learning examples about, and you're going to have those all available to you. And I did one just to give you an example of what it looks like after is, I did one for my pickleball friends. Open this one up so we can see it. This was one, so here's an example for pickleball. And I basically said, here are 30 semantically relevant topics under the main category of pickleball. So I got 30 different topics. And then I basically said, here are 10 variations on pickleball strategy. So I took one, pickleball strategies, And I just basically said, give me 10 different variations of pickleball strategy. And it's now got 10 pieces here. Then I picked one of the 10. I did it. I just kept on doing it for each of the 30, right? So there's 300 ideas that are right there. And then after that, at the end, went through, did a couple. And at the end, I just said, where is it? I did the whole bunch actually. At the end, I basically took one and I said, give me 25 common questions or challenges that are there. I did lots of them, so my apologies, it's down at the bottom. I did it for all of them. So that's just a way to come up with these ideas and stuff to actually think through when you're doing that. TG, hey, thanks for joining. Anthony, thank you. D-Champ, hi everyone. Make sure to put your questions in. I'll do my best to answer them. So let me go back to the other question. Yeah, so the creator app for my special ed curriculum, but only did the home page using my prompts. Which app can I use to make the rest of your app? Now, if you could give me a little clarification on that, I'll answer it to my understanding, but if I'm on the wrong track, let me know. So there's two things here. This is my, I did a video on kind of my AI toolbox. This is my suggestion, especially if you're just getting started, is that there is a website that's called There's an AI for that. Right now, I think there's 50,000 or 60,000 different websites that say they have their own unique AI tool. And they're all about little pieces about AI or like a specialized focus for something in case like you have a special ed curriculum. So there might be a couple tools that are about creating course curriculums. Now, that's one way to approach it. My suggestion, and this is what I do, is I bought and looked at a bunch of them, but here's what I end up coming back to. I end up just using 7 basic tools. The first one is ChatGPT, and I have a basic paid account on it. I also use Claude with a basic paid account on it. I use Gemini from Google, which is, I don't know if it's paid, but I use the one with the Google Workspace, so I think it's actually paid. I use Notebook LM from Google. I use Perplexity.ai. And let me, was there another one I can't think of right now? Because some of it has been consolidated into the other one. But those are kind of the big ones that I use on a regular basis. Now, the question is why? If I go to that website that says there's an AI for that, 99.9% of them are basically just interfaces to and giving specific prompts to Claude, Gemini, uh, the ChatGPT. The basic engines are the same. Now there's some from X. There's one called Grok. There's obviously some other ones, R2, DeepSeek. But I use the top 3 and I basically keep using those ones and get better at getting responses that I need from them as opposed to going and buying a tool to try and bring it all together. So if I'm creating educational content and I need to have a curriculum or a syllabus or course content because that's still important to me and it's something that my customers and or my learners are expecting, or if I'm doing certification or any skills-based assessments after where they have to have that knowledge, I would just go, and I have a ton of prompts here. Again, these are all available to you. I have actually a teach prompting framework, which is basically a framework for prompting that has to do with creating courses. So there's a prompt here, and it's the actual prompts and stuff to use to create the curriculum, those kind of places. Instead of using a special app that is basically asking the same large language model tool, I try and figure out a framework that I can use to get the result that I want. So, if you were in a situation where you just got one kind of piece of it from using this app, a creator app, I would kind of focus on that. Having said that, if you're asking about creating a website that is for the curriculum and or the course, I have some experience with it, but not a lot of experience with it. I will show you that it is really capable now. This, for example, I have a mentoring program. I'll show these ones to you. Excuse me. So Just gonna have a sip of coffee here. One of the ones that I do have, let me hit the enter key here. Coffee. So here's one here. This is a page. I have a mentoring program, right? So if you want some one-on-one mentoring, this is available. This page, this actual page right here, all I did is I gave an AI prompt, and I think this one was Manus that did this one. And Manus.im, which is a general agent, a browser agent. That particular one, I basically said, hey, go create an HTML website to sell, or an HTML sales page to sell my mentoring program. And I said, here are my corporate colors, this blue and the green, for example, and this other blue here. I basically said, these are my colors, these are my fonts, and I want to sell a mentoring program, and go ahead and do it. This actual page came up from Manus, and it was HTML, but I did not write any of the text. I did not do any of the design. The only thing that I did to this page is I basically added the correct order link here at the bottom. So this link goes to my shopping cart. But in terms of the content, I didn't do anything about it. That was with a tool called Manus. So there are tools that are now available for that are kind of a little bit different than the standard kind of Claude or ChatGPT kind of tool. And that's when I did that a couple weeks ago. The other one that I did that was the mentoring program. There was another one that I did. Can't remember, but mentoring is just an example of it. So here's the other one just to kind of think of as well. So as I logged in this morning when I got to my computer and I went to ChatGPT here, take a look on here. Hopefully I can get a little bit bigger. This one right here came up, this little blue thing. Software engineering agent answers questions, runs codes, and draft PRs. So this is Codex. My understanding now, and I haven't played with this, is you've now got a situation where you can start using some of the regular tools to actually create the HTML for web pages. So I did that in Manus, which is a general AI agent. I have a couple videos on that. And if you want, I'll put the links in this after to it. But there's a situation now where you're using a tool to create the HTML pages for your course, the sales page, that kind of thing. If you're talking about putting the entire course into a platform, that's kind of a talk for another day that we could copy. Just to say, my big thing on this is that you should make sure that you own your platform, not rent your platform. That's my personal kind of belief on this one here. So hopefully that helps. Again, if you want to look for curriculum and syllabus and stuff, go look at those prompts. That Teach framework, they're right there to follow. You should be fine kind of going and doing those things. What else we got for questions? Which app can you use to make the rest of my app? Oh, actually, I will answer one more thing. If you are interested in actually creating an app, a web app, there are a whole bunch of tools available. I've been playing with them. I have a couple. There's one called V0. Let me do this one here. Where's the V.0? I can't remember the prompt for that one. I'll put them below. There's one called V.0 from Vercel. There's another one called Bolt. There's the names just left me now. There's a couple tools, and basically those ones are just a vibe coding is what those particular ones are. And again, I have a list of them. Their names just left me on it. But vibe coding allows you as the software engineer to basically create proof of concept apps, and it will actually go and create the app for you. So let me just see if I can open one up here, just so you can see what it actually does. So one of the ones that's kind of cool is called Bolt. And let's see if I can actually log into this one. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I did one called a course creator app. And this one, my idea here was that it would actually create courses based on YouTube videos. So create your personalized learning journey. This one was with Bolt. There's a whole bunch of different ones available. This one's kind of cool. Basically, just talk to it. And it's, in my case, I just say how to start a podcast. And I set this up so a beginner would be able to go and say, yeah, I've got some knowledge, for example. I want to be able to, start it, and I want a step-by-step kind of course, and I want it balanced, and just create it for me. And basically it goes and creates the concept. Now, I didn't get it to work properly, but the framework started to get laid out. And these are the kind of tools. If you're looking to build an app, I'll make sure to, in the copy of this, I'll make sure to put the link on it. Or they are actually in the trainingsites.io campus. So that one is an app that's built. And if you're trying to build an app with a syllabus or one that creates syllabus for people, a tool, a vibe coding tool like Bolt and V.0. Again, I wish I remembered the names for those other particular ones. That's kind of where you want to look. What else we got here? More questions. Again, this is cool stuff for me. I learn as much from the questions you ask and being able to play around with these tools is that hopefully you're getting you're getting in feedback here. So what else we got for questions here? What do you think of the new Perplexity Labs feature? Yeah, we'll talk about that one. Check veracity when you're preparing a course in an unfamiliar domain. DIY handyman course. I am going to talk about that one because it's all about marketing. So the question is, do you have strategies or flows to check whether or not basically your market is valuable enough? And in the past, what I was always taught and what I taught people was that you had to niche or pick a particular niche, and sometimes people run ads, drive them to some kind of landing page, see what the conversion rate is, that kind of thing, or do searches for your competitors and come up with some kind of plan to kind of figure it out. Or go to answerthepublic.com or Ahrefs or any of these other paid tools to go and see the keyword search volume for them and then the competition. So those kind of things were what I was taught, and you might still be being taught now. If you're in the education space, which I am, my personal way of approaching this, and I think the quickest way and the least expensive way, and to make sure that you're on the right track, is bring this up for you on another page. This is
legit.
I'm going to do this. There we go. I think the best way to do it right now is to go and create as many YouTube videos as you can as quickly as possible. Just make YouTube videos. Make tons of YouTube videos. And the reason I say that is two reasons. One is when you first start out, you're going to make crappy videos that aren't any good and no one is going to be watching them. I know from experience. So you're going to make a whole bunch, and then you're going to learn through the messaging and the approach to the topics that you think it is. So if you're talking about DIY handyman, for example, and you have a process or a framework that you have, and you can start watching other people's, copy the ones that do well for them, but applying your framework, do as many videos as you can as quickly as possible. The reason is it only takes a couple of them to actually kind of hit and get feedback on, and you're going to find out right away, did more people watch it when I talked about it this way than opposed to this way? And when I messaged it, did I get comments back about questions that are relevant to what I think I can teach people? So you're going to get real life kind of background on this. Now, a lot of people use Reddit or Quora or some of the other tools that are kind of under the radar, real life comments. You can certainly use that and do some prompting with it. But my personal attack on this was just to do as many YouTube videos as I can. And it took me like 6 months of doing YouTube videos to actually get some messaging correct that I was comfortable with, that other people were interested in. I didn't change the framework. I didn't change the start, build, and grow education businesses. None of that changed, but the way that I messaged it did, and trying to make sure that I was talking to the right people. So that's the first way. I think it's if you get it on YouTube and people in watching are commenting, you know you have a valuable market. Now, the other thing that happens there, as soon as you do that and you do enough videos, I think I used an example of Moneyball. Like if you saw the movie Moneyball, what happens in Moneyball, of course, right, is that the whole thing is get on base. It's not hitting home runs all the time. It was just like get on base, get on base, get on base. Some people still teach, do one video a week and have it, super produced and like a fancy video. I don't do any editing on my videos. I try and do one a day, sometimes two a day. I do them as quickly as possible with questions that are from that topical authority map, answering them, or the questions that I get from people that are commenting on these particular ones. So I do that not only because I get real information, but I now have digital assets that I can use in my community. I have 476 videos that are here. I got 700 and some in Vimeo, and those are just ones that are now, which are digital assets that have valuable content in them that the AI tools are now going to have access to pull the transcripts from, to put together the content automatically, not me creating a standard course. So if you're doing a DIY handyman course, let's just go and look and see what happens here. Hopefully that makes sense. The other thing I didn't mention before that is when you do YouTube videos, the first ones are awful, but you will get comfortable in front of the camera. And if you are actually teaching stuff, and I would hope that you would at least try to get comfortable and have a personality in front of the camera, you can do that really easy at the start with YouTube when no one's watching. Practice those ones. And I've told people before, if you really want to do a lot of videos and get good at doing live edits or doing the things like I'm doing, switching between screens, open up a StreamYard account and do live streams, but don't make them public. You can spend a day and do 25 live streams. Look at them, see what's working, see what's not working, delete them. You have the pressure of doing a live stream or doing, one edit, see how things work, but just delete it, no one sees. And you're going to see after 5, 10, 15, you're going to see that you're starting to get better at them. And that gives you that confidence to be in front of the camera. So let's look and we'll do DIY handyman. So I'm just going to do a search here. We're on DIY handyman. I'm just going to look at videos in this particular case. So we've got a whole bunch of these particular pieces here as examples. And again, I don't know how deep a market or things that you're in. If you haven't already, there's a whole bunch of channels that are about how to build your YouTube channel. I'm not an expert on that. This is the process that I'm using, as I have what's called vidIQ, which is a tool that basically ties into the account, your YouTube account. And in my case, it basically shows up here, if you can see it, it says how many video views per hour are there, and it has, this is called an outlier score. So this means that this particular video and the title got 12 times the average for this particular person. So what I would do is take a look at the ones that are here that are doing well, that have high outlier scores, and basically creatively plagiarize the videos that they are doing. And when I say creatively plagiarize, I'm talking about the structure and the way that they have titled and thumbnailed. Use something similar, obviously, with your framework in mind or the way that you teach it or talk about it. But if something is working really well, don't reinvent it. Do exactly what they're doing in your own kind of flavor and do a couple and find out. Is it hitting? Is it not hitting? And again, the other thing that's really cool with this is if you use this approach and you're in a position where you've started to create a whole bunch of videos, you've actually automatically created courses. And if you haven't already, go please take a look at this course here. And again, this one's free to you. You'll see there's a bunch of other courses here that are not public, but just open this one up. Where is it? Where did I put it? Let me just do YouTube here. Yeah, if you're looking here and you don't know where a course is, you can do a search here. There it is right here. So this one is called Turn YouTube Videos into Courses. And I've got some clients that are doing this. And basically this is a process to take 3, 5, 7 YouTube videos and basically turn it into a course. So that's why I say focus on the YouTube videos, create content, capture them, get good at your messaging, find out which ones work and which ones don't, and then create a course. Traditionally I was taught create your course, put it on a platform, and then market the heck out of it. I don't think that's a good idea anymore. Not only does it take too long to do it, you never find out if the course is worth anything until you try and sell it and you've wasted your time putting it together and trying to get it perfect. So hopefully that helps a little bit. That's my headset on it. Just kind of, if TG, if you're thinking about that, that's my strategy to find out actually what's going on. And there's a whole other bunch of benefits from that. But the real thing for me is the fact that if you can find the what sticks on YouTube, you now have the ability to tap into that audience and bring that audience in your community where you can actually start to monetize them. Um, didn't like the Manus token system myself. Yeah, absolutely. I did a video on that. I think they overpriced themselves for the way that they were delivering content. And if you don't know what a token is, basically all of these large language models, they basically have think of it as kind of a rope. They have a certain length of rope, and there's a little segment of the rope, and they call it a token. And that rope only goes a certain distance with each of the large language models. And every time that you type in a word or a series of words or a phrase, it takes up a token. So if you're having a long chat, or the tool has to do a whole bunch of work, which was Manus was doing, it does all that work. If the rope only gets a certain size and you've used up all those tokens, the chat just ends, just stops. Um, so they have an expensive service with a smaller number of tokens. And I found a lot of times when I was testing it, I did one test, and this one's called a browser agent. So this one is not like an AI large language model. It has the ability to interact with your browser window. And again, I did a video on this. Basically, what I said to Manus, I said, hey, I want you to create a text only course on this topic, and I want each of the lessons to be in this format. And I said, I want you to create the topic. I want you upload it to my WordPress site. I want you to create a product in WooCommerce. I want you to create the product at this price, and I want you to make sure that you can upload that course in LearnDash, attach the WooCommerce price, and make it available for sale. That's all stuff that can be done in the browser, right? And it got, a couple times it got more than halfway through it, almost done, but the tokens ran out. So it wouldn't be able to do it. You have to break it up into small pieces. So TG was just saying, yeah, the token system, I think they made a mistake on that one. And again, that's manus.im. If you haven't seen that one, very, very cool tool. It is a browser agent, a general browser agent. There's another one called GenSpark, which does something similar. I think that one's got a little bit of more tokens available, and it's also got other tools. So it does stuff like graphics and some other pieces, which are kind of cool. So uh, the Lebo gang, pardon me again, appreciate the links. Thanks. I'll make sure to put them in. What do you think about the right for entertainment content, stories, comedy, and songs for education purposes? D, what a wonderful answer. Question, sorry. How long have I been going on this? Holy mackerel, an hour. How many more questions do I have? Not too many? Okay. Okay, so here's the thing on entertainment content. I am all for stories, entertainment, personality. If you can whip that in, I think it's absolutely gold. And again, it's just it's your ability to, I think, to be yourself and be okay making mistakes. And that's something that I'm happy about getting older, is because I'm more comfortable with that. I really don't care in a lot of cases what other people think. This is what it is. Take it or leave it. So if you can share your experiences, the good and the bad, you can share the stories that you have and be a little bit entertaining while teaching. I think that is absolutely perfect. That's what I'm trying to do as much as possible. The one thing that is interesting with that approach is I think there's a time for teaching content and a time for telling people what to do and a time for telling people what you did. And that's a delicate balance, again, based on your particular experience and the purpose for what you're teaching. So, a lot of times, and I have trouble with this, and I did at the start actually, when I was doing this, is like you have the inclination that if you're supposed to be an expert on something, you have to tell people what to do. And everyone can Google something or do ChatGPT something and get 10 steps or a process and basically say, these are the 10 things that you can do, or these are the 10 things you do to get this. Anyone can prompt that now. And it's really hard if you're trying to do YouTube videos or courses, if you're just delivering dead content that anyone can do. But if you can interweave the way that you mucked up with it, what you tried, or how you got to the way that you do it, I think there's huge value in that because those are teachable moments as opposed to self-generated content. So that the good, the bad, the ugly, the warts and all, whatever phrase you want to use, I think put as much as you can in that, and your own story, and obviously other people's stories with their permission. But being able to share that is absolutely of huge value, and that becomes, your story, and your way to educate people, whether it's a song or comedy sketches. Those are other things. Again, it depends on your business. Is it for educating people? Yeah, if you're going to use comedy to do that, you can certainly do that. And entertaining ones, you're going to see that there's a lot of people that are doing podcasts slash um, video podcasts on YouTube where they're bringing people in to share stories and educate people, not by telling them what to do, but by having some laughs and some funs with stuff that worked and what didn't work, and being able to share that with people. So whether there's a song in there, I don't, I don't really know. But I would put as much as yourself in. I try and put as much as myself in as I possibly can. Again, based on the purpose of the content that I'm creating. I don't want someone joking around if they're, talking about creating a rocket ship or something. So technical stuff, technical people, personable stuff where it's appropriate to share. Yeah, absolutely put it in as much as possible. So that one's kind of cool. The one thing that I think is a big change in the education space, the very, very first video that I made for education, this is a true story, is I paid $3,000, I think, for a 2-minute video in 19, would have been 1987 or 88. And that was on a, okay, I'm dating myself. That was on a VHS tape, and it was a educational tape on communication skills. I was doing sales training at the time, but it was a tape about, and it was multimodal stuff. It was communication skills about how, there was how to build rapport with people. I'd just done all that stuff with Tony Robbins, done the firewalk, all of that cool stuff a long time ago. And it was stuff about NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and communication skills and levels. I did a video, I paid a couple $1,000s for it. My whole idea was to actually go and create that particular content or that stuff that was about. Forget where I was going with this, but that was kind of the thing. But putting that together, there was no me in it at the time. There was nothing in it at the time that was appropriate to what I was trying to teach people. And I think that level of entertainment or production to get a $3,000 video done, or a course that has a professional set and fancy editing and all of those things, I think if in your educational space, you don't need that anymore. My personal, again, belief on this is that you should try to do everything with live edits. And live edits are just exactly what I'm doing right now, where I'm switching back and forth live and in real time in the video as I'm recording it. So getting a couple scenes together, putting it in place, and having it set up that way. So for education, I think entertainment can be through live edits and or being yourself on the particular thing. If you need to super produce stuff that is, has fancy Mr. Beast stuff, certainly go do that. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually important for the educational space. Um, Champ. Okay. Actually, the OI. Okay, here's one. Here's one. I don't know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about OIA, learning method. So I'm not a formally trained teacher, that one I haven't heard before. Put it in the chat. Let me know what it is. It might be something else that that I've maybe heard of but don't know about. So put that one in. Um, if you can do that, that would be great. The one thing that is interesting, and I think there's a big movement with AI stuff. I talked about a couple other videos, but I'm kind of shifting. I'm trying to go to just in time, so JIT education. So what do you need at the appropriate time and only what you need, as opposed to just in case courses, which were content that you might use, right? So I think there's a move from JIC, just in case, to just in time, and that's because of AI, which is cool. And I think there's this whole move to this, scenario teaching, which is a specific scenario as opposed to no scenario that's actual real, but just in case. And if OII, do you want me to look it up? Okay, let's do a search here. Let's see what, I'll open this one up and we'll see what Perplexity says. Again, if you haven't used Perplexity, I haven't used Perplexity, the lab one yet. I know it's there, but I haven't used it. So let's go see what Perplexity is. And I'm just going to go and ask. I'm just going to type and say, what is OIA learning? Outstanding International Academy. Okay, here we go. Outstanding Education, Greater Toronto. Hey, I'm in Ottawa. There we go. Online on-site day school programs, Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Okay, very, very cool. This one then is my understanding. There are some alpha, I think they're called alpha schools in the States. One of them is called New View. I did a video on this one and I'm super pumped about this. And let me see if I have there it is. So this one is called New View School, and I think it's similar to that one you're talking about. Give me a thumbs up if it is. Let me just make sure. Learning method. Okay, here we go. So this one's kind of cool. This is New View School, and this is a private school in the States, and they do just that. They have a trimester that they do, and for the first, I guess, 2 hours, Khan Academy does this as well too. They have a group. They have an AI agent. But basically, they work with AI. They're self-paced AI education for 1 to 2 hours, I think it is, in the morning. They spend the rest of the afternoon doing hands-on skills about the topics that they were actually talking about. And I think in this one, there's a little bit, a little bit more focus on science, tech, and education. But I do think they have some of the softer skills. So they have these AI teaching, then they do studios where they actually work on stuff. They still have a seminar or a teacher-led kind of organization or education of what they're doing. And then what happens is they have to do a presentation at the end. So it's kind of workshop set up, not just in case here's your content and then hopefully go and do it. This is the whole trimester every day is a part doing about actually doing or implementing or applying some of the stuff that they learn. So if you haven't already on that one's called newviewschool.org. That one's really, really, really cool. And if you're in the States, if I get into trouble this, I apologize. But just to see how important learning about this stuff is I know that the head of the education department in the States, and the only reason I'm saying this is because I said alpha schools, they were actually speaking at a conference and they were talking about A1 schools. She was mentioning A1 schools. She didn't even know that it was AI schools. She was talking about A1 in schools, not AI in schools. So, in as much as we're looking at this stuff here, not everyone is up to speed on it, but it's happening and it's coming. And if you're not there, might be in a situation where you find yourself kind of lost there, which is kind of scary. So get up on the AI stuff, play around with it, use the tools that you have, start creating videos, learn yourself, educate the people that you are on video, and collect all of those assets that you can have as part of your story. So hopefully that observe, interpretation, and application. Hey, thanks, Dee. That was different than what came up on Perplexity. Uh, okay, cool. Don't know that one. But that's an interesting story, I hope, anyway. I'll have to go and research on that one, interpretation application. Again, I'm not a formally trained teacher. I was not aware of that one, but I will certainly go look at it so that I can talk intelligently about it next time. How long we been going? Hour and 50 minutes. I think I'll wrap it up there. Was that helpful? Give me a thumbs up. Make sense? Good stuff, bad stuff? Anything you want covered in the future, please let me know. If you haven't already, here's my last second pitch away. Please come and join trainingsites.io/join. There's the link. It's my personally branded community. It's absolutely free for all of the content that I create. You can ask questions, get involved in the community, share stuff that's working for you. Join me live on these Wednesdays. And if you do want to work one-on-one with me, there's the opportunity to do the live classes, which we do 2 to 3 times a day or a week over and above this call here. And these are co-working sessions. So this isn't on YouTube, the ones there. These are all about actually working live on your situation or other member situations to actually try and figure out how to do what needs to get done. And they're always, always, always my goal in my campus is to be able to approach it using my 10-step framework, that campus map. And if this is something that is interest to you, where you want to build an education business that has long-term value with AI, my personal belief is that you have to start building out your campus. It's not about the courses, it's about your campus and your community and your ability to educate in it. So please think that through. That's the stuff that I'm teaching here in that 10-step campus. That's the stuff that I think is the real gold for all of us who want to do some teaching and actually build a long-term business that is AI proof. And I will ask you for one last thing here. If you do come to the workflows, please go to the one that was the 5-day AI business challenge, from confused to confident. I put a scenario here. Please go and put your thoughts, and we'll put it together an answer on Friday on what to do or how to go through this based on that framework. So hope you enjoyed it. My name is James. Like and subscribe to the channel. Join the Training Sites community, and I'll be back again next week to help you start, build, and grow your education business. Take care. Expect the best.